Come here, Bluey. We got Bluey hunting for food. How you doing, guys? Hope everyone's well. So there you go. This is just a really brief video, just a quick catch up really to where we are. As you can see, it's all complete and I am extremely pleased with it. I really am. This has certainly been a different one to build. It may not look too complicated because they're not really. These are quite simple bikes, but if you followed this along, it has thrown up some good challenges and we've tackled them all really. Making a BSA front end fit an Enfield, everything was completely different, so that was quite challenging doing that. Just generally making stuff different on this one so it stands out from the rest, and as you know, this is a nod to Dan's granddad, who was a dispatch rider in World War II. So I've had times where I've been ripping my hair out, times where it's been an absolute pleasure, and times where I've just sat here staring at it because I like it. So yeah, it's been an interesting build, and again, this has gone on through a lot of personal troubles as well, and I've just kept fighting along, doing my best. So yeah, it probably hasn't been built as quick as I wanted it to be built, but there you go, these things happen. So yeah, we've got quite a few differences on this with the front end. I don't normally put the strut over the mudguard. I normally just use short mudguards. We've gone with a brown seat on this one, the older tank off an earlier model, which I believe this tank would have been on the World War II models, and then we've done these modifications for cutouts for the fuel taps. We've added the little fire extinguisher, the little oil pump on the other side. Ian's worked his wonderful magic on the decals on the tank, all done by hand to give it that sort of vintage feel. We've not gone for sticky decals or airbrushing or anything like that. We're trying to make this bike sort of look period. It's not a copy, as you can probably gather. It's just a nod to his granddad and sort of that era of bike he would have rode during the war. No, don't you start barking, I've just cleaned that. Definitely don't jump up it, else we will be falling out. And Dan won't be very happy either. Not now we've got this far. So yeah, and the green again is driving me wild with this camera. Like I've said before, there is slight differences in shade because we've dealt with powder, spray paint, brush paint, you name it, and it's nigh on impossible getting exact. But the style of this bike, it just carries it off perfectly. It really does. And honestly, some of this bike does look brown on camera. I cannot get rid of it. People who have been to visit the shed have seen it and gone, wow, it is green. You know, because it does look brown on occasions, and different light as well. I mean, I've got a little lamp down here shining on it at the moment. Even in different light, it looks different. It's such a strange colour. I don't know if I mentioned when I went and got the paint mix for the tank, I was there nearly an hour and the guy kept going outside with his paint chips, bits he'd mixed. Even he said, I've never had such a difficult colour to try and match. And you know, I'd sort of told him, look, there's slight differences in shade throughout the bike. Get it as close as you can. Yeah, so even, you know, this company has been established as long as I can remember, supplying all the paints to all the body shops in the local areas and further afield. So they've been in the game many years, and you know, this chap said that's the hardest paint I've ever had to try and do. But yeah, it's like I say, I've had a few days going over it and cleaning it and stuff, And I have found myself sitting here staring at it quite a lot as well, because weirdly I don't really become attached to builds. A lot of people say that, oh, how can you sell that when you finished it? It's quite easy. My enjoyment's always doing it, and then you get a lot of enjoyment about handing it over to the new owner. But this one, it's been a bit different. I've become a bit attached to this. Don't worry, Dan, you are getting it. Because it's different, I think, and it'll certainly stand out. It really will. And I hope it draws a bit of a crowd as well, because I can imagine Dan's going to have this sat outside his shop. Probably not in the winter. He may even clear a place in the shop for it. I don't know. He sells food products, so people seeing a motorcycle in there probably be a bit frowned upon, but obviously that's totally up to him. But I'm sure it'll take pride of place outside his shop through the good weather, and I'm going to guess that this is going to end up in his house over winter. And why not? If I had a big enough house, I'd have my bikes in there too. I have squares one bike in there before. But we live in the smallest house in the world, so it's not possible. So I'd have bikes everywhere. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Bottom line, I'm really pleased with it. There's still one thing that I've got to sort out. We've got something strange going on with the front tyre. I know we haven't got a lot of room to play with the tyre anyway, because it's got quite big tyres on, but obviously the back's fine, but the front, it's quite close. It's not dangerous. It clears. It's safe. That's all that matters. But we've got some slight deforming in the front tyre, which I'm hoping may settle on a few runs out. I don't know. If not, worst scenario, we've got to change it. It may be that the tyre has a fault. Unsure. I've had the wheel back out the forks. I've let the tyre down. I don't know if you've all tried this, bouncing the tyre to try and get it to seat. Blew the tyre back up. I've let it down and done that several times, and it still seems to be there. So I don't know. I am going to run it round for a tiny bit, see if it does settle or something weird's gone on, but it does not seem to be seating well. So we'll sort it out. There's no way I'm sending it down to Dan with a bulge in the tyre, because that's just not on. But it will be sorted, either or, even if we have to buy a new tyre, like I say. But it will be sorted. I'm also going to have another check over the front brake. Not 100% happy with that just yet. It's still a bit vague. So what might be happening, because it's got brand new shoes in there, they might be just catching a lip in the drum. Very easy to sort out. Done it loads of times. Basically, you just file a tiny edge on the shoe so it clears the lip. Done it on bikes, cars, everything. It's a normal thing to do. But don't get me wrong, the hub's fine. It's not worn out. It just may be catching a tiny lip. These shoes, I guess you can get slight variants where they bond the actual pad on or something like that. You've only got to get it half a mil to one side, and it could be catching an edge or something like that. But I'm going to pop the wheel back out and I'm going to investigate that and get that all spot on as well, because these twin leading shoes are actually quite good. And with new shoes, they do get better as they bed in as well. So I'll be attending to that. So just a couple of jobs. I don't know if you spotted the copper breather hose I made isn't fitted yet. The reason being, that does pass over the cover for the timing. And if I need to mess about with the timing slightly, I've just left that on so I can get straight into it and sort it out. So although it's all together, there's still a couple of tiny little things that we need to sort out. But it's there. And I thought I'd do this video to catch up because we haven't done one on this for a while, and I know people say, oh, I wonder where the Enfield's gone. Has he finished it and we ain't got a video? No, I think I explained in the last video where you can get delays to where the project is in real time, because it's a lot of hard work keeping all the projects going in here and trying to line up the editing in the videos with where it actually is. It's sort of impossible. But we've got some plans for the last video on this. You will see it being ridden, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to put a day time or anything on it when the video will be released, but you will see it, 100% sure. Hello, Blue. Yeah, we've got some little bits. I'm liaising with Dan at the moment. He's putting he's putting a lot of information together for me about things. So it will sort of be the grand finale on this video, and I'm really looking forward to editing that one, actually, because I think he's gathering a lot of very, very interesting information, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. And it'll be a nice thing for Dan to keep as well. And it's sort of a massive chunk of history for this bike, isn't it, that he's got there. I do believe I've got to catch up with putting all the videos together for him, so he can just pull them off YouTube, I guess, and that's it. It's a nice bit of history with the bike. I don't think he'll ever part with it. Up to him if he does. And I think as it goes along, he'll probably add his little touches to it as well. It might end up with a tool bag somewhere and things like that. I think he's got a plan for something else on the tank or somewhere on the bike, graphics wise, writing. Some other people in the family that was important, so he may be doing that, but it's his bike. He's going to do what he wants with it. I hope he thoroughly enjoys it, looking at it and riding it. He already knows it's going to be quite interesting to ride, because we've took a perfectly serviceable bike with suspension and, for want of a better word, destroyed it. Them forks are going to be interesting. Obviously, it's got nothing on the back end, and I know how people all sometimes get all a bit giddy about our tails. A lot of the time, they haven't rode them. I've rode a few of these now, believe it or not. If you run the tyres slightly low on the pressure, make sure your seat springs are not absolutely rock hard, which these are not. It took me a long time to go through all different seat springs to get to ones I was really happy with. These actually work. You get some, you may as well put iron bars in there, but these work an absolute treat. You get, like I say, combination with a softer tyre, decent seat springs. These ain't too bad at all. They really ain't. At the end of the day, they're not a sports bike, they're not a racing bike. You've not bought one of these to go and win races. You've bought one of these to go and plod out on a sunny Sunday afternoon, to go and see your friends at the pub or the cafe, or family members, and just enjoy the sunshine and the country lanes. That's what these are about. And sit there looking at, drinking your beer or your cup of tea, whatever your fix is, and just generally enjoy the bike, whether it's standing or you're riding it. So yeah, I think that about covers it. We're all up to date. Bear with me for the next video. Like I say, we're gathering a bit of information to do a nice last video, and then that'll be it. Not sure how it's getting down to Dan. What's down? 160 mile away. It may go in my van because I've got all the correct gear to strap it down, all safe and everything. Dan's got a little van, and we certainly don't want to mark it at this stage, although Dan is going to sort of let it grow old. Shall we call it gracefully? Get a patina, let it age, but always look after it, clean it over, oily rag sort of thing, because the styling that we've got on this, I think it will carry aging off really well. Don't get me wrong, if it was a proper, like shiny bright custom, you'd want to keep it like that. But I think with the style of this bike, it will age quite well actually. If you know, if it's left, like I say, if it gets a little dink, it becomes a part of its history. That little dink or scuff will stay there, and it'll just keep it clean and not go mad polishing it to death every single day. So yeah, there we go. I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait to see Dan with it. I can't wait to do the last video actually. So like I say, bear with us on that one. That will be out as soon as we can. I'll be riding it and we'll be tying in other things on the video. Anyway, cheers for watching guys. Take care.